What up, people? Gideon Prime, Truth Chasers. What's going on? Just want to address anybody that's listening. This is just on my mind. I just want to get this out. You know, name of this video is going to be called the BobbleHead subs, or BobbleHead subscribers, and the dangers of sitting in darkness. I want to get into this real quick, man. And this is something that I'm, you know, I mean, I guess you could say I've been seeing this on YouTube for quite some time, and this is not nothing that I want to add to or subscribe to or help out or you know, make this problem bigger by putting in my 2 cents to it. This is something that I want to fight against, man. The bobblehead syndrome. As you can see, you know, when the heads just go, just no matter what you sing, yep, I agree. Whatever you say, yep, I agree. Yes, sir, I agree, No matter what a person or a group of people or anybody is saying, you just gonna agree just because you like their style, or just because, you know, you think you're cool with them. And I'm not trying to say this towards anybody, so please don't put no words in my mouth. People, anybody who would think to do so. But this has been a problem for a while now, even before Man 13 was dropped. It's been a while since my old channel was up. Apex is Free, since that was up. So I just wanted to, I never really got a chance to speak on it, and it just came to me to speak on it now. Bobblehead subs, bobblehead friends. So like, if you're not agreeing with that person, then now you are labeled a hater or a troll. You know, so now this is some type of popularity contest. And I think that's wrong. It's not about who's popular. It's not about who's cool. It's about who can prove points, man. Because at the end of the day, none of us really know each other. I don't know people. Now I can speak to them. Like I have a good idea of how people like J Music are, and put them in the game, and Mad Dog, and you know, these are people that I speak to on Skype almost every night because they're there, and you know, I get on and I see them on, so I talk to them. And we talk about what we talk about, many, you know, ranging over many different topics. And a lot of times, you know, words and terms or terminology just get so skewed up. They get skewed. They get fuzzy. And people, they you know, they think they mean something when their idea of what they think the word means is totally off. Like the word cool, for example. We all have our own personal or definitions of what we think this word means. And now, you know, it's a hood term, so it's not really like an official word that you can actually get websites on and say, hey, look, this is what it is officially. You know, so everybody has their own definition. It's almost like poetic. You know, here's my definition of cool. A cool person is a person that's reasonable, a person that can admit when they're wrong, a person that is easy to get along with, despite the situation. It could be a situation where you agree with somebody, or it could be a situation where you don't agree with somebody. But if you're a cool person, you know, in both those type of situations, you can find a way to get along with a person. That's what my general definition of what I think cool is, and that's just purely subjective, you know. So you can't say, oh, Apex coined some phrase, or this is what cool is, or here's what it is from now on. Nah, because this word is like it's a slang word. It's a word that the original meaning for cool is not being hot, you know. But the slang, street slang, has taken this word and morphed it into something else. So they added on definitions. Now, some other people, they may think the word cool means a person that you agree with no matter what. I like that person, so they're cool. I like that person's personality, therefore I'm cool with them. Or we like each other's personality, so we are both cool with each other. And I can't tell you that that's wrong, and like, you know, you better not have that definition, or else Apex is free is gonna get you. Nah, man, I'm not trying to even say nothing like that at all. Cause this is not no dictatorship here, man. This is what I want my channels to be about: grown men discussing different topics, bringing points to the table, and being able to weigh the differences on some scale of justice that we can bring up, you know. Because if you're talking about football, well, you want to have, football as a scale of justice. If you're talking about whatever, you're going to have some type of standard to weigh things against. So we can come up with some type of balance, you know? So, like when I hear people say that, you know, Jay Music is a troll, he's a hater, just because he doesn't agree with the status quo, like in my opinion, I feel that's messed up. You know, I feel that's truly messed up, because in all of the comments and the videos that I've seen of him, he always had reasons to say what he says. Now, his mind may be made up, but what's wrong with that? Everybody's mind is made up about something if you talk about it. So if your mind is, like I say, for example, is against EA, he has his reasons. And if his reasons are valid, you can't ignore them just because you don't like him and label him something else that he's not displaying. But now you do have trolls. Like, for example, you have guys like old Marty Moore, and I think the guy's funny. You know, he comes on the channel and he says what he says. You know, it's going to be comic relief in his comment, and you know, it's funny. It adds flavor to YouTube. You know, and you know, he's not the type of guy, I don't really see him cursing or nothing like that. So, you know what I'm saying, I take it as humor, and there's a nice little extra flavor. Some guys, they get a little crazy with it, with the vulgarity, you know, trying to be cool or trying to be another version of cool. Like, hey, somebody that's acceptable with everybody, that's another definition of the word cool, you know. And those dudes are trolls. Like, they literally live off of other people's channels. Now, when J Music was one of the people that was pushing for the original Sim standard when they were founded, you know, I mean, I remember his video, like when I first seen the Ian Cummins video, that he was, you know, pretty much calling me out, saying that, you know, the Truth Chaser guy. And that's what pretty much got the members of the Sim standard at that time. That's what got them riled up, and we all joined together. J Music was was the first fan, or now I won't say the fan, the first person in line that was agreeing with the alliance. He made videos like, yo, your dudes need to get together, we all need to team up and go against EA because they're disrespecting the people. So everything was cool. He wasn't a troll then. But soon as he started to disagree with people that I guess had more clout than him, supposedly, on YouTube, oh, now he's a troll. Now we're gonna label now we're gonna label this young man as a troll and say all types of crazy stuff to him just because there's a disagreement or a discrepancy. That's messed up, regardless of what you say, you know. And the danger of having a bunch of people that agree with you around, or a bunch of bobbleheads, is that you won't know if you're wrong. And that's what I want to say, you know, the second part of the title of the video, the dangers of sitting in darkness. When you have a whole bunch of yes men and BobbleHead subs or BobbleHead friends around you, whether it be on YouTube or in real life, you're not going to know when you're wrong. There's never going to be no self-examination. There's never going to be no or looking at yourself. You know, you're not going to examine yourself. You're not going to look at you. You're not going to walk circumspectly. You're not going to examine and judge yourself to yourself by yourself or by the standard, which is the life standard, which is the Bible, the Word of God. That's the standard of life on earth right now, whether you believe it or not. You know, and a lot of people, they don't like to hear that because everybody wants to do their own thing and everybody wants to feel like they have a beat on things. You know, so then when times of trouble happen, and that's when they start praying to God. You know, people, they always go against God when they're comfortable. You let something happen to them. You let somebody get in the hospital. People at my job. You know, I work in a hospital, and I see people that 1 minute they're fine, and the next minute they're not. They're in a hospital bed, and I see the change. I see the change in that, and it's a famous saying: there are no atheists in foxholes. So people, they always have something to say against God because they don't like the rules that He sets. They don't like the way He runs reality, or they'll just say something like, "Oh, man made the Bible," and this and that. But when things get hard or something crazy happens, that's the first thing you call it to, because deep down we all know that that's right. But that's neither here nor there. Let me go back to the topic. BobbleHeads. You cannot have all these people that just agree with you. Yep, okay, I agree, yeah. Whatever you say, I don't care. And then you can't disagree? Like you're above scrutiny? What's the fun in that, man? Like, you want to create your own, it's like some type of communism, like YouTube communism. Like, you better agree. That's how Operation Sports used to do, you know? But you can't disagree. You better not say nothing. They'll kick you off the forum. Like, what's the point of having a forum if you get kicked off or labeled or disregarded? Yo, anybody, I'll tell y'all right now, anybody can disagree with me at any time. The only thing I ask is come with some facts, come with some points. Talk about the topic. So I'm talking about a topic on a video, bring the topic of the video up, so it can be discussed in the comments. Or if you want to make a video response or whatever, it can be discussed in the video response. YouTube should not be a popularity contest, man. You know, we supposed to be grown men. 37, man. I'm 37 years old. I'm not sitting here trying to campaign for lollipops or something, man. I'm not trying to get YouTube lollipops. I'm not trying to do that. You know, if YouTube could be useful, but it also could be hurtful. So I'm going to try my best to try to make it as helpful to men as possible. Now, still at times I'm going to talk about video games because, you know, everybody's playing it regardless. And playing a video game in itself is not bad, depending on what game it is. I mean, playing a sports game or even watching sports, I can't see that being sin unless you abuse it. But for the most part, you know, it's not sin as long as you keep it in its proper place and you don't idolize it, you know, and put it in a high place in your life, because that's what Baal means. Baal means Lord of the things that, the Lord of the high places, Lord of the things that fly. That's what Baal means. So we think a lot of stuff that happens in the Bible is not connected to reality now, but that is far from the case. That's wrong. People put things up high all the time, celebrities, and yes, they do put video games up on a high place to where your whole life can get consumed by it, but you'll never even know, because these are things that people never admit to themselves. and I'm gonna make a stance, and I'm gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna take a stand. I want God's agenda. Everybody has an agenda. They do. People have their own agenda, or they have an agenda of a person that they live vicariously through, like a rapper or a basketball player, a football player, and then they'll live through that person's agenda and connect it to themselves. That's worship. They just don't know it. Like, they don't understand what worship is. That's it. Living through somebody that justifies your social existence. Like, when you talk to people, you talk to people with through a filter of the people that you put up in life. That's what worship is. So when they say, oh, the Bible's written about, all you got to do is just break down it's like an equation. Break down the variables, and then so you have Old English, the back in the day, the King James English. All you have to do is break it down, and it pretty much describes what's going on right now. It's just things get lost in translation, but when you break it down, it's talking about what's going on right now in the hood, in the suburbs, in the hood near you, that movie theater you going to, that rap concert you about to go to, or just came out of. Putting things that's man-made above God. That's always been an issue in the Old Testament. People making their own gods and putting them up. That's what happened to the children of Israel. They made a golden calf, and they raised it up, and they say, this is our God. Now we're gonna bring this to Pharaoh. He'll accept us back with this golden calf. You can say that, oh, look at the NBA trophy. These people, they compete their whole lives and put thousands of man hours in training and dedicate their lives for a golden trophy that they can raise up and go down a city street ticker tape parade and raise it up and say, yeah, we did it. But yet you got to do it again next year. So how important is it if you got to get it every year? That's sidebar right there. But like I'm trying to say, the dangers of sitting in darkness, man. You don't want to have people. You don't want to have yes men around you, and I don't want yes men around me. That's why that's why I like to talk to on Skype the members of the Simheads United. I don't have a problem doing that, and I don't have a problem talking to anybody, even if they disagree. Let's disagree like men and find ways of solution like men, whether we can solve it or we can just agree to disagree, and then leave it at that. There doesn't have to be any feelings behind it, because this I have a man's heart. Thank God gave me a man's heart. That's his power that put that in me, that I wanted that. God is the one that did that to me, whether you believe him or not. Nobody knows everything, so everybody has to believe in something. The word believe, like that's me take an example of variables for an equation. The word believe in the Bible basically means trusting in something you don't know. Now, being that no person knows everything, everybody has to believe in something. People don't even know how their cell phones work. They don't know how the 360s work, but they trust it. And what do you do when things break? You bring it back to the manufacturer. They don't try to fix it themselves. No. So why do people think they can fix themselves when God was the one that made you? You have to believe in him. Just because you don't know him. And knowing is basically the things that you know with evidence and what you can see and touch. Nobody has seen everything. Nobody has touched and experienced everything. So everybody has to believe in something. Everybody has to believe in the most of reality that they take in, because they don't know it. I don't know how these buildings were made. But I trust it can support my weight. I go in the elevator, go up. How do I know it's going to break down? I don't. I have to believe. Trust in something you don't know. Why now? You see, when you break that down, the Bible says we are supposed to be stewards. Christians are supposed to be stewards of the mysteries of God. That's just one example. When you break the Bible down to our language, then it makes sense. Then you start to walk in light. And what I mean by walk in light, you start to examine yourself. You start to see the sin that's in yourself, the transgressions, the problems, the corruption of our own human logic. And see, I can't see through your eyes, whoever I'm talking to, that's watching. You can't see through my eyes. So before I can even think about offering a suggestion to correct somebody else, I gotta first be examining myself and asking God for clarity and light on my own situation and self. So I can say, you know what, God, I need help. This is how you're supposed to be praying every night. For Christians, this is how you're supposed to pray. Like, God, I got an attitude. Even though a person may have done something wrong to me, I got an attitude. Lord, give me the grace to get over my attitude of, you know, how this person does me wrong. Even though they're wrong, I don't want to have bitterness in my heart. Lord, help me with bitterness. And when you start to have those humble prayers that are about you, God works from the inside out. He will go on the inside of you and start to change things around and then work that out. And then next you know, first you start to change, and then your environment will start to change because of what he's doing inside of you. And then he'll start to change the things around you. And then you'll start to see his sovereign power. And I know it's sidebar, but this needs to be said, because there's a lot of mysteries that just because there's a lot of mysteries of the Bible, just because people don't know it, they just put the Bible down and they get mad at it. And then they come up with their own solutions, and then they get people to agree with it. They get BobbleHead people. Yep, that's it. You're right. Whatever you say, going straight to hell. Because heaven is God's house. And if you don't know him, and that's where all the God owns comfort. He owns peace. He is love. All the things that we enjoy now come from him. So now when you die, or when judgment day comes, whatever comes first, now you want what's God's. But guess what? You don't know him. You didn't get a chance for God to iron you up. You didn't pray to have God take the sin out your heart and take the corrupt thinking and the corruption out your own self. No, we was too busy looking at somebody else's corruption. That's easy to do. That's too easy. Nah, I don't mean nothing to God. What about you? You're only responsible for you. I'm only responsible for me. God has to straighten me out first, and then he can use me to help somebody else. But it has to be motivated by love. It can't be motivated by I told you so, I'm gonna get you back. Nah. That's not love, that's strife. That's bitterness. But sidebar. Let's not sit in darkness anymore, people. I know I may have helped start this whole Madden YouTube video game critiquing movement, and I don't want to go down in history as a person that helped people be distracted from God and help them worship their own self, or help them be critical towards somebody else blindly. Nah, I want to inspire thinking. I'm going to inspire something. I want to inspire thinking. I want to inspire people examining stuff that they can prove and speaking about it in a civilized manner, like how men do. Because we're supposed to be men. So that's my video. I'm going to conclude it there. BobbleHead subs and the dangers of sitting in darkness, man. And like I said before, anybody, we can all get up, we can chat on Skype, we can even talk to the YouTube comment. I'm not mad at nobody. I'm not mad at a single person, man. You know what I'm saying? I want God to work on me and my heart, and I gotta face him, whether death or judgment day, whatever comes first. I gotta face him and make an account for myself. So I can't go to God and say, hey, look, Madden is messed up. They don't got run animations and blocking. I can't go to God and tell God that. You know what I'm saying? And because of the wisdom that he is giving me, I know better not to even do that now. So now I want to try to share that with people that care to listen to me, or people that I have some type of influence over, as far as inspiration wise, because I may have inspired people to make videos and speak up in a certain type of way. I hope is that what I try to inspire people with is that people, men talking like men sensibly, arguing points instead of throwing senseless insults at people. Alright, so stop being, if you're a BobbleHead sub, don't do that. I don't want BobbleHead subs. I don't want a BobbleHead audience that's agreeing with everything I got to say. Examine what I got to say, compare it to the Bible, or compare it to any type of evidence that you have that what I'm talking about, and see what I'm trying to say is true. And if you disagree, say why you disagree. Because this is supposed to be America. This is not YouTube communism, you know? You got YouTube political parties. The activists versus cooperators. Whatever side you're on, you know, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because we got to answer to God, and our time is valuable. So, shout outs to J Music and all of them. Shout outs to the Sim Standard. Shout outs to B Fife, Ryan Moody. Shout outs to Versus. I seen your video, Versus. That video is a great video, not just because you agreed with me, but because you was honest about it, you know? And I appreciate that video. Shout outs to you, Verse. Alright? Truth Chasers. Gideon. 1.